So this takes us to our first tip of using the mobile shield to separate enemy teammates. So here I have two guys coming in on the far side. I drop my mobile shield. They thermite it really well here, so I'm not going to stand there. I go to the left, get a shot, and of course I'm separating myself already with the cover that I have. Now when I move forward here, I get a shot, get the down, and then I'm starting to do peek shots just like I've shown in my prior videos. Now what I want you to pay attention to here is as I move forward, you're going to see a minor micro adjustment. Do you see? So I pinged here to the left because his teammate is right here while the guy that I'm focusing on is here. And I'm not going to use the shield to give me cover with my 1v1 here because I might expose myself to the both of them. So rather than using the actual shield for the fight, I'm using it to allow a 1v1. I make that micro adjustment. I got cover from that teammate, separating them, allowing me to get the down, so that way I can challenge this guy 1v1 and just doing peek shots. Now this second clip is still on separating enemy teams with the mobile shield, but here I use a thermite at play. So here I get a knock here, I reposition. I'm not going to challenge in there with those two guys. Get a couple wingman shots here, put the mobile shield down. Peek shots, huge for Newcastle are peek shots. All right, let's rewind that a little bit. So after I get the initial down, the bread and butter of Newcastle is the peek shots. So I'm here getting the peek shots. Now after I ripped the second guy, after getting the initial down, I'm putting this thermite down. There's a couple of reasons that I do this, and I've shown this in my prior guides in the past. But the reason I'm putting the thermite down is for a couple reasons. One, I put the thermite down to do some damage to the enemy. And what he's going to do is he has to phase into me, because otherwise he's going to take thermite hits. And because of that, it tells me he's only got one way. That's the phase into the right. And he's going to walk right into my shots. Just as he did. And the second thing about it is I'm getting cover from my mobile shield and getting separation not only from the mobile shield but also from the thermite. Thermites are so powerful for Newcastle because they are immediate. This third clip, we're still on separating enemies. So to give you a reference, we had high ground. This Newcastle was by himself, so me and my teammates decided to ape him. Get a nice shot here, and immediately I put my mobile shield down though. There's a couple of reasons that I do this, and it's a couple tips in one, I suppose. I'm always monitoring my teammates' health as a Newcastle. I see a couple enemies over here, so I want to separate them from us so that we can take on whatever fights that we have going on over here.
I did some damage to this monster, some damage.
Peek shot. So peek shots, like I said, you're using them at all times. I got the separation. My teammate goes down. Even though there are some people behind me, I have to get cover at some point in time to get this peek shot in, to get this down. And actually, I think the team behind me went down from gas during this ranked gameplay. Go in. So I was able to separate and also get a peek shot in there to get the win. Moving on to tip number 2, using your mobile shield to poke into buildings and essentially get intel for the team. Prior knowledge, I believe there to be 2 enemy teams in here, or 2 teammates essentially. I move forward. I tell, hey, I'm gonna move first.
Just right.
I'm queuing to them. Hey, they're both to the right.
Both of them.
Get some shots. I get one of them ripped. Now the unfortunate thing is, both of my teammates are back to the right. They did not press with me. As a Newcastle, it's my job to take the heat. It's my job to give teammates cover. And if I do that and I do the crowd controlling, I do believe they should be coming. But the thing that I did wrong here is once I figured out that it was a third teammate, I don't use my mobile shield to push in. I use it to get intel and to pull back. I use it to maybe throw a thermite or a grenade to flush them out so that my teammates have a better advantage rather than us just going in 1v3. And that's the mistake that I needed to make an adjustment here for, where if I find out bad information, it's okay to pull back. That's a part of my job. Moving on to the third tip, giving cover with your mobile shield to your teammates. So right here, I'm doing a little bit of arenas. my buddy I'm reviving at this moment, and immediately I put down a shield because he's at a disadvantage. Doing our peak shots just like normal. That's our bread and butter. More peak shots. Turn around, give cover, and take care of business. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is, of course, the peak shots is our bread and butter, but the reason that the mobile shield is so important is because after we do the res, our teammate is at a deficit, but not only is it important to give him cover so he can shield up, do his own peak shots if he wants to, it allows us to get the ability from our teammates. We're playing here, we're doing our peak shots. I turn around. The Bloodhound walks right into my Caustic's gas, allowing us to have an advantage. Using your abilities to get your teammates to a better position to use their abilities is super important when giving them cover with the mobile shield, in my opinion. Here we are still on tip 3 of giving cover to our teammates with the mobile shield. My buddy Sikuz here is going to this care package to get some guns. There's guys on high ground. Immediately, I'm watching my teammates' health pretty much at all times. If I hear shots or whatever, that's usually the first thing as a Newcastle that I'm looking for. And let's watch this. They are ripping this shield. He's got 500 HP. By the end of that, if that's getting ripped, he's gonna go down. So that gives him an opportunity to get back, get to cover, put some bats in. So these guys have been camping this spot at end circle during this ranked game. So what we're doing is we're using the mobile shield to get cover to that car. The thing that I do want to point out that I did wrong here that I need to work on in the firing range is look at the angle of my shield. It's more vertical than horizontal, and I need to kind of figure out how to get that to move sideways without standing still. That's the only grief I guess I got about this tip. Now this takes us to tip number 4, using the castle wall to block off for revives. So here we're in the middle of a fight. I'm using my mobile shield. Now he goes down. Now the reason that I stopped the revive here and use the castle wall is because if you are in close parameters, I do not know how many people are left. Of course, my buddy Sikuz here is fully shielded and he's giving cover, and I probably could have got this res off. But if for some reason we got third party, we got aped by additional teammates after getting knocks, I don't know, anything could happen. You would have seen in my prior Newcastle guide videos where if people are close, that's when not to use the mobile shield, and that's why I made this adjustment. So right there, my teammate says, you should have stuck the res. Unfortunately, he was a very argumentative guy, but I've done this revive many more times than them, and you as the legend that you main, it's your decision. You need to make the call. You do those plays a lot more than everybody else, and if you mess up, you adjust. Now, something I want to point out is during this whole interaction, I'm saying to Kuz, come back to me, because I don't want to put my castle wall down and it cause him to have to crawl over it and he doesn't have cover. This takes us to tip number 4, using the castle wall to reposition. So here we're using our mobile shield because the person was far enough to the point where I could do that to get a revive off. Unfortunately, I don't have a gold knockdown shield, so he's going to be pretty low. As you can see, the gas is behind, or the zone is pulling in, so I need to get in front. That allows me to get a reposition. I get 3 or 4 wingman shots here. Now what you're going to see me do is I throw a thermite down to get him to reposition and force him to a certain direction. And that allows me to get a couple of EVA shots and get a good down. Now in this situation, for some context, we're using a Revenant ult. So we have some death protection for a little bit, so we are just full sending it. Get a nice knock here, want to get the full. Now the problem that I do here is I don't do a good job of monitoring the time of the Rev ultimate because I don't use it a whole ton. Alright, so we get a nice reposition here. So as I'm in here, I get the full. I'm not monitoring. I still think I have my death protection, so I'm being kind of reckless. I miss these shots, I whiff that. Now I immediately put down my mobile shield to allow me to reposition so that I can reposition again with my ultimate. Now, my teammate is down here. He's got good health, but for me, if I stay in that fight, I'm a couple shots, maybe one shotgun shot. I need to reposition and I need to get rebatted. The best thing I can do is stay alive for my teammates there. This now takes us to tip number 5 of snaking to get revives. Or maybe what some people might want to call it is using figure 8s and strafes in and out of your mobile shield. So here my teammate is down. I put the mobile shield down and you can see I'm snaking not just side to side, but forward to back. So get the revive. I'm snaking, but forward to back. Get some hipfire shots, and my teammate helps me get that down. Second clip here. We get the revive. We're snaking in and out of the shield. And now this is a 2v1 situation. And the only reason that I would really force this is if I have the gold knockdown shield with the Guardian Angel perk. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to challenge it that much. I'm probably just going to play using my mobile shield. All right, here we are at tip number 6 of being creative with your mobile shield. Context purposes, I had it down and we have a lifeline that's doing a revive here. So I'm pushing through here to get this re-knock. I go back to my mobile shield. Let's let this play out. Okay, couple different things here that people may not notice is, so I come from a riot shield background in Warzone, and I want to show you what's going through my mind here. So just as if you were a riot shielder in Warzone, sometimes what I would do is as I'm behind cover, behind a wall, and they see me with the riot shield, just as they see me behind the shield here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately force out, if I was in Warzone, taking the riot shield and putting it on my back as I come out into no cover and getting some shots. Same thing applies here with the shield, is I'm behind the shield. She's not expecting me to slide into a super aggressive shot. Nobody really expects that. They expect me to kind of be passive and stay behind the shield. So here I pull back, peek shots, that's our bread and butter. Now, I make a very micro adjustment with the shield. Micro adjustments with the shield is what makes me, I feel it makes me a lot better at playing Newcastle. So now I strafe to the left. The easiest strafes to telegraph is left to right, left to right. So she's expecting me to go to the right, and you can see she's pre-aiming here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this micro adjustment or be creative with the shield and get this to go to the right, and I'm gonna stay in place. I didn't really move. I moved the shield. She's lost in the sauce. She's shooting to the right because she thinks that I'm gonna strafe to the right. Play that one more time. Push forward. She doesn't expect it. Peek shots, micro adjustment, phase out. Get the knock and the dub. All right, guys, this last clip isn't really a tip. It's more so of piecing everything together. Let's let this play out and I'll break it down. All right, like I've said previously, as a Newcastle, if there's shots happening, if there's some commotion, explosions, whatever it might be, it's my job to monitor the health of my teammates. Of course, I don't want to get in the way with my mobile shield, but if I feel like they're going to go down, I need to get some cover and get them an opportunity to do some peek shots of their own. I go down here, look at my caustic. He's about to go down. We got 2 teammates in there, and then my Bangalore team is also a little bit low. Now, what this does, I get cover for the teammate, but not only do I get cover for the teammate, I'm doing crowd control for my Bangalore teammate who is low. I'm taking that fire off of them. Here, not only are we giving cover for the teammates, we're not only doing crowd control for the Bangalore in the back, we're also creating separation between the left teammate and the right. I get a couple shots off here and there. I didn't know she was going to go down, but I knew after getting a couple shots off that I put Bangalore in a position to get the down. We move to the left, peek shot. Peek shots. Now, there is a little bit of creativity here where I'm not just phasing forward and back or left to right. You can use these corners of the mobile shield to not only phase right, but then phase forward and back once you do go to the right. So we get that knock. I see that my teammate goes down. I'm going to do a micro adjustment and move my shield forward. That way she doesn't eat the entire shots of this. Look at this. We're snaking. We're snaking. This is on purpose here. I stay here because I'm trying to crowd control for my teammates. If you run a shield, crowd control is a lot more important than a lot of people think. So my Caustic's able to shoot this lifeline in the back as I get her stuck in the mobile shield. We're snaking. Now right here, I'm not just reviving somebody. I'm not just getting them back to life so that they can get shots and we can have a 3-on-1, 2-on, whatever it might be. As I'm doing this revive, I'm pulling my teammate back inside the mobile shield and on the opposite side of where the enemy teammate is because I don't want to leave them exposed. Peek shots, we're doing some hip fire, using our cover, and we take it home. Guys, I hope this was an effective breakdown for you. We had 6 tips. We had a clip at the end where we pieced everything together. For all of my Newcastle mains, if you saw something that was beneficial for you, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next Apex video.